Alright guys, welcome back. We are watching Chainsaw Man, Season 1, Episode 7. Last time, well, we've been dealing with the Eternity Devil. Denji jumped into its mouth at the end. I guess he's gonna try and handle it. Aki, I hope Aki's not dead. We got a bunch of backstory stuff about like Himino and Aki and their relationship. It's all very interesting. Himino is now a character I'm very interested to see where we'll like go in with her. Because I think about like her the whole thing that she has about like this dependence on other people, on another person, I guess specifically with Aki, is I think it is interesting, perhaps in terms with like where Denji could be going as a character, you know. So I'm excited to see perhaps what we are doing with her, because I was thinking about it because I skimmed through the last episode to make sure I'm like locked in, you know. And it's just the moment when Denji tells them that he is gonna, be eaten, but he's actually gonna try and kill the Eternity Devil, right? Himino looks at him, and it makes me really think like what's going through her head. What is the interplay there between Denji's attitude about like life and like what he's doing compared to Himino? I don't know. I guess we'll see. Maybe we won't. I'll think about it at least, right? Anyway, we're watching episode 7. You can line your own copy up with this if you want to. We are starting in 3, 2, 1. Oh, it happens like right here. Yeah. Sick of owing people stuff. All right. Let's deal with the Eternity Devil, I suppose. Come on. He did it by being eaten, like don't say that. All right, all right. He's just in like he's in hell. Like what? Just in a swirling mass of faces. Oh God. I Oh, okay. A big. Can he kill this thing at all? I really don't know. Yeah, right, right. Ah, this music. I was gonna say, like, can any of them help at all in any way? True, yeah. I mean, I guess they can't really help. I mean, Himino can. She still has her devil, right? With the contract. Oh my god, the music. Okay, well, it's not really going that well. Obviously, I don't think Digi's gonna die, but I wonder. I wonder. Hmm. I do think, perhaps, I haven't thought about it until this moment right now. The idea of Denji fighting against the Eternity Devil, like as a concept, is interesting. Fighting against the representation of eternity, you know? I don't know. I'd have to think about that, right? I think it goes along with like why there is an Eternity Devil in the first place, right? Like the idea of eternity being something that people would fear, right? I think that is interesting for Denji specifically, perhaps. Get a drink. Something I'm forgetting, and that door. What is behind that door? I love that shot at the end with Power and Denji just dancing. Surely they can do something, right? Oh man. Maybe he really has lost, huh? Oh, but then what are we gonna do? Right? Who can even help? I mean, Power could, I guess. Is she going to, though? Oh, right. Sure, sure. Yeah, I imagine. It's like having that toast you love. What is she thinking? I mean, he's a devil, right? Didn't know that. Hmm. Sahara. So many. With a scar. Makes sense. That's, yeah, he is unfortunately not very sound of mind. I would assume most devil hunters that succeed aren't. Yeah. Can't really blame them. I love this guy's voice. Like Denji, perhaps? Yeah, yeah. Kishibe. Hmm. Interesting. Yeah. Because that obviously belies some amount of fear, right? To care about anything like that, you know? Yeah, he's not gonna wait. He's not gonna wait. Oh, what a shot. Hmm. Kishibe. Oh, shot of just her eye that she's missing. Interesting. Okay. Huh. Oh, go private like out of the bureau? Yeah, yeah. Well, he's not gonna give up. Oh, she wants it so bad. Man. Yeah, yeah. Interesting. Hmm. I'm sure, yeah. It's because it's just too strong. I mean, I. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, because how would he act if he was faced with it, I suppose? Yeah, yeah. Oh, but Denji. But Denji. Sure, sure. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Her attitude compared to Aki's is very interesting. Seems so surprised. Oh, there she is. But him, interesting. So then, we'll talk about it later. I just don't have time. Perpetual motion machine. Oh god, not the Nobel Prize. And now Power's gotta kill you. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. He wouldn't. Exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah. And I wonder what that means to her, right? Because I can think of, hmm, still not done? Ooh. How long have we been here? I mean, it was a perpetual motion machine, right? Oh, and he's bleeding. Yeah. It's 3 days. Do we have water at all? Oh, it's over. Allegedly. Is it? Okay. Can't take the pain anymore. I wonder, is this really a tart? Or is it... Okay, sure, alright. There we go. Denji won. Denji did it. Let's go. Huh. He made Eternity give up. Let's go. What a way to put it, huh? I think it makes sense Denji would put it in those terms, though, honestly. I can't blame him. They all look better, though, honestly. God, I feel so bad for Kopenny. New recruit welcome party. Okay. Can't really blame him. Yeah, yeah. Sure. I understand that, I suppose. Yeah. Live without any shame. Is that really her attitude though? Ooh. Oh. It's like in every piece he gets, it's scary for her, right? Lighting each other cigarettes, yeah. Oh, next week she goes to Kyoto. Interesting. I wonder how the whole Denji situation is going from their perspective, you know? Yeah, I mean, whatever Denji even is to them, right? Yeah, yeah, why did it want to kill Denji? I mean, obviously he's something, like, special, right? Something unique, in a way, right? Knows his secret. Because when she was talking about it, she said something about how, like, he's the chainsaw devil or whatever. That's interesting. Is there some kind of deeper meaning that I'm just not picking up on, perhaps, or maybe I'm not supposed to pick up on Fujimoto? Very nice, very nice. This power drink. I see her over there. Okay, you can have it. You can have it. Oh my god. Is she always like this? Like, come on. Calm down. Is Makima gonna show up, I wonder? It's a reminder. Come on. You don't power. You don't get everything. Another fiend, huh? I wonder how many there are. Yeah, she's so reasonable. Oh, true. Yeah. Did he go to school like ever? He didn't even, right? I mean, come on. Don't bring that up now. Sure, I guess. Interesting. No, I think her attitude about that is interesting. I don't know. I don't know. Huh. Because in a way, I think she's afraid of emotion like that, you know? Sure, sure. I think, yeah. Oh yeah, it's illegal. How crazy that would be. He's working as a devil hunter, but if he drinks some alcohol, it would all be over. Oh, okay. Friendly towards humans. Interesting. It looked very intimidating when we saw it. Ah, interesting. I wonder if there's some kind of like reason for that. It's a secret. I wonder if I assume the devil she's contracted with will have some kind of relation to like the way she acts, you know? But 8 siblings, Jesus. Wow. Oh, yeah. Hmm. I think it's interesting. It shows her like coping with it in this way. You know what I mean? It's kind of same as like the cigarettes. Same as like Aki in general. Yeah. She's so happy about that, you know? Yeah, yeah. Very interesting. She just kisses whoever. That doesn't make it special anymore. Come on. Although I guess Denji doesn't care. How nice. How I'm so happy. Oh, what's up, Makima? I'm sure she will be happy about that, right? Hmm. Oh, really? Real Makima. Denji just doesn't know what to do. I'm gonna guess Makima is not very affected by it, huh? It seems like the kind of person. Oh, interesting. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Okay, alright, alright. Go for it. Oh, I don't know if that's a topic we should bring up. Maybe. Yeah, interesting, huh? Yeah, I wonder if it all has something to do with Denji, right? Yeah, yeah. I believe she does. I don't think she will tell us, though. The lines in the cup. Okay, I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think that's gonna happen. Oh god. Hey, me now, you gotta slow down. Horse sashimi. Right, right, right. Makima just completely unfazed, I'm sure. Yeah, yeah. Is that true? I suppose. I I guess. Well, she made a Nobel Prize, right? Like, come on. That's a pretty high number. Everyone just knows their IQ score. 500, naturally. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Oh, she's ready. Alright. There we go, I guess. Oh, man. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. What does he... Oh, God. What? Okay. Right. 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 Of course. Great. Great. Awesome. Perfect. You know what? Sure. Right. Right. Oh my god. I don't want to see that. Right. No, actually, that makes sense in a way. I'm telling you, it does. Oh. Haven't seen Pojita in a while, huh? Oh. What you were doing isn't much better, right? Makes me ashamed to be a mammal. Yeah. Can't really blame you. Oh god. I'm sure he's overjoyed still. I'm sure it's tears of happiness. Is that right? I suppose. I kind of support them not dying for no reason as a devil hunter. Oh. He is not happy about it. Can't really blame him. Hmm. Interesting. I mean, I think it's kind of just in line with, like, when he touched Power's boobs, right? It's kind of not what he expected, right? Because again, it's like, yeah. She's so happy. Looking for Denji. Yeah, yeah. Oh, God. She's taking him away. Where are we? The puke woman puke kissed me. Thank you. Thank you. Well, there's the puke woman. Oh, God. God, she's still drinking, huh? Hmm. She is not here at all. Yeah, like man, so drunk. Yeah, yeah, that's what he thinks at least. Head is spinning. Overwhelming situation, perhaps. Yeah, mm-hmm. What's interesting is no, we'll talk about it in the discussion. I don't have time. Hmm. What do you think of him, Himino? Oh god. Oh man. Oh god. I don't know if Denji's ready. I don't know if Denji's ready for that. I'm concerned. I'm concerned about that. Oh man. I always want to talk during the ED, but I should like watch it. Oh, that's so cool. Oh god. I love this one already. Ooh. Be a pet, be killed. Like all Denji needs is to just be best friends with Power and everything's okay, right? Like come on. Although might be rough. I don't know. What's interesting, I know, let's talk about it in the discussion. I don't have time. I don't have time. What am I looking at right now? God, I love this one actually. Like yeah, it looks so good, like a CRC, you know. All right. We will talk about the episode in the discussion. Okay, let's talk about the episode. What an episode title! In retrospect, having watched it, right, the taste of a kiss. Man, that was gross. But I mean, it makes sense. I think it makes sense. I think it's like the same reason why he was disappointed when he touched Power's boobs, right? It's like for the same reason where this whole deal to get his kiss with him, in the first place was like kind of a strange, just like transactional, like not there was no emotional anything to it, right? It was just it was just that, and she was drunk too, like, and like he learned that she just kisses anyone when she's drunk, it's that kind of thing. So it makes sense that his first kiss was very disappointing in that way. Now I guess the question is at the end here, if they actually do do it and my thing about it is like I don't think Dingy. I don't know what could possibly happen that would make Dingy be like horribly disappointed with this, right? I guess he wasn't horribly disappointed like when he touched like Makima's boobs, right? Um, he found like so much more meaning in that. He thought that was like awesome, you know. And I think that's just because of like the way Makima did it was very different than like when he touched Power's boobs, right? If anything, I think the emotional connection he has with Power actually got in the way of him like being able to enjoy touching her boobs in that moment because of how like weird the situation was, right? And I don't know if Dingy like understands that, right? How like this weird like transactional like sexual relationship with someone is like strange. It is not you're not it's going to be hard to have like a good normal relationship with someone if you were like doing that, right? Like what he did with Power there. You know what I mean? Um the kiss is kind of like in that same vein, right? I guess the question here is if they actually do have sex for Himino. Okay, for Himino, I don't think this comes from any place of like some kind of deep emotional connection, right? Like they don't really know each other, right? I think Himino has reasons to be so attached to Dingy. I haven't decided yet. We'll talk about it when we go through this flashback. I haven't decided yet what I think her attachment to Dingy, what like the end goal of it is, or because essentially there's two options, right? Is either she sees Dingy as he's crazy, right? He's not sane like Aki is, like that, right? So he would be someone that Himino doesn't have to worry about losing, right? She wants to be dependent on someone, right? That's what she said, right? That like life is better if you have a complete dependence on something, That's what she wants, right? She wants that kind of crutch in her life, right? So Dingy for her can represent like, he's someone who's insane, so therefore he won't die, right? She's constantly worried about Aki dying, right? Because she knows that if he faces the Gun Devil, he's going to be emotional about it. He's a nice, normal person, right? Despite the way he like acts, despite trying to act so antisocial, right, and trying to be so disconnected from his emotions and everything, he isn't, right? We know that too. Like when he freaked out against Dingy. So from her perspective, from what Kishibe told her, Aki, it's just like a ticking time bomb, right? If she doesn't convince Aki to give up on this Gun Devil thing, he's just gonna die too. But Dingy isn't like that, right? So either she sees Dingy as someone who she can rely on and she doesn't have to worry about him dying, right? Because that's how it's always been for her, right? That's kind of why like her wanting to rely on another person has kind of gotten stronger and stronger the more people have died, right? Because that's kind of like what it's meant to cope with, It's kind of like it's almost like a perpetual motion machine, as Dingy said. She relies more and more on another person, so then she gets hurt more and more when they die, because all these devil hunters die. And then to cope with that, she wants to rely even more on the next person. And Dingy could, like, theoretically break that, I suppose. The other idea, which I don't know if this is where it is going, right? The only reason I entertain a different possibility is because, in a way, you can think of that as being, like, cold, right? Just, like, towards Aki. The idea that she would want to rely on Dingy instead, just because he could represent that for her, right? Like, instead of Aki. The other, I mean, like, it's not like she has to only have one person in her life that she cares about, right? But, like, you know what I mean, right? The other option is, of course, the fact that Denji could, like, kill the Gun Devil, right? And then she doesn't have to worry about Aki dying anymore, right? And I literally don't know which way we're going with that, right? I just have no idea, you know. Either way, I could imagine being an explanation for like what she's doing here. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll see, right? Because obviously, if Dingy can kill the Gun Devil, then the ticking time bomb of Aki dying to the Gun Devil is like gone, right? But I guess it's just in my mind for Himino, maybe this is kind of mean to say, and I don't mean it in terms of like her being like an emotionally cold person or anything. I just wonder how important it is for her to specifically be relying on Aki. Like, no, this sounds so mean, but like, you know what I mean, right? I wonder how important Aki specifically is to her compared to the idea of just having someone in her life that she could depend on, like the cigarettes, you know? We don't know much about her as a character. Like, that sounds really mean, right? And I could be completely wrong. I'm obviously very open to change that interpretation of this, right? But I guess I just think that that could certainly make sense with her character. It just depends, like, where we're going with her, right? Um, I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll see. The other end of this, of her having sex with Denji here, is I don't know if this is like gonna be brought up by the story. Obviously, I mean, she just learned that Denji's 16. She is older than that, of course, right? I can't help but feel like there was, of course, especially because we also talked in this episode about how Denji like doesn't know how to read, right? He's never gone to school, right? He really is so immature and childish in a way, right? Um, so I can imagine this kind of being in the same vein almost of like, Denji being like manipulated like in a way, him just not really like understanding what's going on, right? Like obviously, I mean that's kind of like the whole story in general, right? He doesn't understand like what he himself wants, right? It's not that he literally doesn't understand what's going on here, but like you know what I mean, right? So I don't know if that is going to be like specifically something that's happening here, that this is somehow going to be some further part of like emotional manipulation or something for Denji, you know? I guess we'll see. I really don't know. I don't know where we're going with Himbi now, right? Um I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Because I almost imagine Himino, perhaps I'm really extrapolating a lot here. I just imagine someone like Denji being even more like attractive in a way to Himino because he's someone that isn't going to go run off and like die to the Gun Devil, right? Because Denji doesn't have like some kind of grand aspiration like that, you know? Because people like Aki who have like this strong, firm reason for being a devil hunter who want to do something, you know? Well, Denji's not like that. So then that's even better for him, you know, right? I don't know. I guess we'll see where that's going, right? Anyway, let's go through the episode. We start off, of course, with Denji going to fight the Eternity Devil. I really thought a lot about the idea of Denji fighting Eternity, right? And like what you could say that means, right? Because what's interesting, I guess I imagine that the idea of Eternity is scary. I guess Eternity is just kind of scary, right? Like I think most people, the idea of like living forever is kind of scary, right? Like I mean, eventually you'll just be all alone, right? I think that's kind of the crux of it, right? So it's this idea of being all alone eventually, right? Which I think is an interesting thing for Denji, because obviously Denji has faced that before, this idea of being alone forever, you know? Well, it wasn't forever, right? But he certainly grew up completely alone with no one but Pochita, craving like relationships, that kind of thing, you know? So maybe in that sense, it just makes sense that he is the one who is able to defeat the Eternity Devil in that way, right? Whereas someone like Himino can't, right? Because it's like that fear of being alone and not having relationships that I think this idea of the fear of eternity comes from in the first place. That's like her whole thing, right? So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you could say that there's more to it. The idea of Dingy versus eternity, right? Because I'm trying to think. It's like I don't know. I don't know. I can't really think of any angle to it other than that, I suppose. So the Eternity Devil says here, I don't know if I'm reading into this line too much or not. Says he's nowhere near as strong as he used to be. I don't know if like is it talking about the chainsaw in specific, like Pochita, like the chainsaw devil originally? I don't know if I'm reading into that too much. I think so, right? He's nowhere near as strong as he used to be. Because that would make sense if the Eternity Devil knows something about the Chainsaw Devil, and that's why it wanted to kill Denji, of course, right? I don't know. I don't know. Because it keeps calling Denji Chainsaw, right? It seems like it really has like a grudge against the Chainsaw Devil specifically. again, I don't know. Is there some kind of like literary meaning behind the idea of a chainsaw that I could like think of that would be an answer for this? I don't know. I don't know what a chainsaw is. You know what I mean? Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, Denji activates the perpetual motion machine. Of course, of course. It's like having strawberry jam. And here we go. Here is the flashback. This is like one of my favorite scenes in the show so far, I think. Right here with Himino. So she is looking at Denji as he's being crazy, and she thinks back to when I forgot his name. Fuck, what was his name? I just said it earlier. What was his name? Oh, where is it? I don't. Man, Kishibe. Kishibe. That's his name. Okay, okay. She thinks back to her conversation with Kishibe when she was at the graves yet again. And she visits him quite often, apparently, which is interesting. And he is drinking, which is also interesting because of what happens later. The hunters that devils fear most are the crazy ones. And by what he means by crazy, as he extrapolates here, is essentially like this disconnect between like yourself and like your goals and like this fear of dying and like all of this, all of this, a whole bunch of stuff, I suppose, right? Being sound of mind. Sahara was of sound mind, and that's why he's dead now. Kinochi too, as well as Subaru and Sasaki. People of sound mind feel fear when faced with an attacking devil, and that fear powers up the devil. So in a way, what this makes me think of being of sound mind is also like having a goal, right? I guess that makes sense. Having a reason behind your actions, right? If you don't have a reason behind your actions, you kind of by definition like you're crazy, right? Then it's like why are you doing what you're doing? I don't know. And you can like relate that to Dingy, right? Because from other people's perspective for sure, and in a way from Dingy's perspective too, he doesn't know why he does stuff, right? Or if he does know why he's doing something, it seems to be for a very like shallow, pathetic reason from like other people's perspectives for sure, right? So in that sense, Dingy being the crazy person who's not of sound mind makes sense compared to like Aki, who does have this very clear, explicit goal, right? He wants to kill the Gun Devil, right? And that's his goal. So he's of a sound mind. So of course, for one, when he actually fights the Gun Devil, he's gonna be very emotional about it, right? But not even that. It's like it represents like something to lose. You know what I mean? Like it's this. If you have your goal, like think about how defensive Aki got about like his goal and his revenge before, for example. Um, it's like the idea of like losing that, that's the fear of that. Dingy doesn't really have that because even though Dingy talks about how awesome and great his life is now, he still doesn't really have anything, right? That's unfair to say. He does have something. I just don't think he understands what he has or like what actually is important in his life, right? And that's why he's still crazy. That's why he's of not sound mind. How about Aki? You've seen him in action. Is he of sound mind? Could anyone who's planning to kill the gun basher be of sound mind? Unfortunately, that means you are of sound mind if you have a plan like that, right? You joined the Bureau for the same reason. So many did, I'm sure. God, just look how many graves there are here. Man. So are you also crazy? I'm not. I agree. But still, you and almost every other hunter all want to kill the gun bastard. And that's why it's going to be hard to ever kill it, right? You're open, straightforward, and simple. That's why the devils know how to scare you. But who knows what a crazy person is thinking? Just like us, devils fear what they can't understand. Yeah, Master Kishibe, that's a lot of booze. Very interesting, right? Him drinking like this, right? As time goes on, you'll gradually get crazy. It's almost like for him, it's like the booze is almost like cigarettes for her in a way, right? Though as long as you're visiting your partner's graves every month, it's still a ways away. And what's interesting about this is this like connects the idea of being crazy and not being of sound mind, which is apparently a good thing if you want to be a devil hunter, of course, right? That connects that to like her whole emotional thing, her whole emotional struggle, which is her dealing with the loss of all these people that she cares about, right? Which is very interesting, right? I think it explains why, like her wanting to drink so much before she kissed Dingy, for example, or just kind of her wanting to drink so much in general there, right? I think it's maybe you could also say it's like the same reason for the cigarettes in a way. Um, it's like she wants to try and form this disconnect between her emotions and her caring so much about people, right? Because that's like a weakness, that's like a danger, right? As long as she's visiting your partner's graves every month, it's still a ways away. Yeah, so it's like that's something that she shouldn't be doing, I suppose, right? In her mind, that's like what she learned here, you know? Aki is still weak, so make sure to train him well. And obviously, I like what they're actually saying here is very interesting, right? The idea that in order to like be safe emotionally, you have to prevent yourself from like having a goal and forming connections with other people and caring about them, right? And like that makes sense. Like I understand how people fall into like that way of thinking, especially when you're being a devil hunter, right? Where you do face loss all the time, right? Like I'm sure Kishibe, and I'm sure a lot of devil hunters who have survived and have been around for a while, right? That certainly seems like Kishibe has. He has a bunch of scars. He's pretty old compared to most of the characters we've seen, right? They faced so much loss in their life that of course it makes sense that they would form like this callous attitude about the idea of visiting your partner's graves every month. Like in order to stay sane in this job, even though I guess the goal is for them to stay insane, right? In order to continue doing the job at all, it's like you have to disconnect yourself from that kind of thing. Um, and obviously, it's like you want to say that that can be applied to just like life in general, right? Like, of course, it would be easier if just in life in general you can just sever yourself from like these emotions that you would rather not feel. Because everyone's life, even if you aren't a devil hunter, is going to be filled with some amount of loss and hardship and that kind of thing. And again, it's like that's what Denji could represent for her is a way to not someone she can rely on. It's like she can have her cake and eat it too. She can have this emotional disconnect because she doesn't have to worry about Denji dying, right? She doesn't have to have like a two-way relationship in a way, right? Like she wants to be utterly reliant on someone like Aki. But her constant fear of his death is something that she hates, right? Like of course, right? The problem is that's just how relationships like work, right? That's just like even though you normally don't have to worry about someone like actually dying, right? There are always worries and fears that come with that kind of thing, right? So Denji could just represent like yeah, she gets the good part of it. She has someone she can rely on, right? Someone she can be dependent on, someone in her life who isn't going to die. But she doesn't have to worry about him dying. I'll do it gradually. That won't do. Seriously gathering flesh pieces, yeah. God, these shots. We get the shot of her eye, just the one that she lost. It's very, I don't know. Like, what does the shot make you think? I mean, it makes you think of, like, loss in general, I suppose, right? Like, I mean, because she said this was part of her contract with the Ghost Devil, right? So I guess in a way that is part of like what she sacrificed just to do this job, right? I don't know. It's interesting, just this shot of just that eye. No. And she freaks out, I suppose, in my mind, just to the idea of Aki's like death, essentially, right? That she will one day lose him too, right? Like she's faced with this grave in front of her. That's what she's here for, right? She's faced with the idea, of course, that he's gathering pieces for the Gun Devil, that he's anything but insane, that he's sound of mind in a way, right? If we're defining sound of mind as having a clear goal for your actions like that, then Aki's one of the most sound because his goal isn't going anywhere, right? It's like he lives for revenge and nothing else. So, yeah. So she comes to him with a proposition to go private, to leave the Bureau, and offer for pretty good money. Won't need to chase the gun bastard. Maybe go see a movie after work sometimes. I feel so bad for her. Because she wants this so badly, right? She wants to. It's like what she just learned from Kishibe in a way, is to abandon your goals essentially, right? Is to it's easier to go through life without having some kind of goal in mind the way Aki does, right? Obviously Aki's goal is like bad, right? It's this like hollow revenge, right? That I don't think you would get anything from, right? But all she wants is essentially it's so similar to Denji in a way, right? Is just this very simple, just like fulfill her basic needs in a way, right? Just have a normal relationship with Aki and just like be fine, right? But of course, yeah, no. He's not going private. He's not giving up on the gun devil. Aki takes the dessert, which is very interesting because in the last episode, he was also reaching for a dessert before she gave him a cigarette, right? I don't know what to think you could say that the dessert represents, though. Maybe that's going too far. But you know what I mean, right? This is the same time this exchange has happened, right? It's interesting. Aki will definitely die if we fight the Gun Devil. It's not because we're still too weak, and it's not because it can kill hundreds of people almost instantly. It's because Aki is cool and serious and kind. Yeah. He's a normal person. And she immediately just thinks of this, right? So it's like, what? I imagine that she herself, of course, doesn't want to think of herself as a normal person too, right? The thing is that she is as well, you know? I mean, I guess of course it makes sense when she's focused on the loss of people for her. Of course, she's focused on the emotions that she herself would be feeling from that, right? Hmm. So Himino helps out Denji with the Ghost Devil. He's got his perpetual motion machine, and he fights for 3 days, which is very man rough. This boy is so utterly crazy that he might actually manage to kill the gun bastard. And this is what I mean when I say I'm not sure um what her goal here is. Because does she want Denji to just kill the gun bastard so that then Aki won't have to go die to him? Or does Denji represent like someone who won't die in her mind, so she can rely on him? I literally don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Because again, it's like obviously it would feel pretty callous if she just like wanted to rely on Denji instead of Aki just because Denji won't die, right? But like maybe that's where we're going with her character. I don't know. I don't know, right? Yeah, they're all they somehow live here for 3 days without water, I assume, or food for the most part, because Power ate it all. Maybe they have water. I don't know. I don't know. It's over. God, and the Eternity Devil gives up in the end. Denji defeats Eternity, huh? Very interesting. I feel like there has to be more meaning behind that, but I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure. We did it. We did it. How easy. For One Piece. For One Piece. I feel like I just took a dump. Like, no, it makes sense that Denji words things, like, in this very simple, like, biological way. You know what I mean? Like, very just, like, basic needs kind of thing, you know? That's all he knows, right? Come on. It makes sense. Hmm. So Arai and Kobani after this apparently want to stop being devil hunters. Can't really blame them. Can't really blame them. New recruit welcome party. Never really gathered for the whole 4th Division. Built some bonds and solved some of our problems. Kobani and Arai are thinking of quitting the Bureau. Regret over wanting to kill Denji. It's very interesting that that is specifically what she brings up here. Because I wonder if that's true, or if she is just like, if this says more about her than like, does she actually regret killing Denji more than like she's coming across here, right? Like she obviously what she says here is, oh, those newbies want to quit over something like that, right? But she's the one who brought it up in the first place, because it doesn't sound like she heard this from them, right? Because she said it's probably not just their fresh trauma, but also regrets for everyone to kill Denji. So it just makes me think that in her mind, she's actually thinking about that a lot more. Which I don't really know. I don't know what to think of that, right? Like, obviously, I guess it would make sense that just about anyone would regret wanting to kill someone like that. But I don't know. I don't know. Very interesting. Why not just live without any shame? Hmm. God, because she always has this attitude. She always has that attitude of, like, wanting to come across as someone who cares so little about anything like that. But it's like we know that she actually does so deeply. Found a flesh piece. He's another step closer to his death in her eyes, right? And she lights the cigarette. And again, it's like the cigarettes that she has like gotten him hooked on, essentially, right? I mean, it is a representation of like of her like holding on to him in a way, right? Hmm. So we talk about Makima. She's going to Kyoto. Apparently, she's normally not in town as much. She's been around while Denji is here. And we kind of talk about this idea, yeah, of like what Denji is, right? Like, obviously he's very unique, he's very special, right? He's not like a fiend, right? Because Pochita, like, he wasn't taken over by Pochita, right? Pochita like merged with him or something, you know, whatever you want to say the word is, right? He's something very unique, right? And I don't know if that's all it is, or again, from that scene in the car a few episodes ago when Makima was talking about Denji, it's something about what the Chainsaw Devil itself is, right? That's like what it has to be, right? The Eternity Devil, it was like specifically about the Chainsaw Devil, right? It was the chainsaw, as it kept calling Denji, you know? And Makima, like when she said, like, oh, Denji is the Chainsaw Devil, I just thought that was interesting, right? That's what she said. It's something about the Chainsaw Devil itself that means something. I don't know. What does it mean? I don't know. I don't know. Hmm. Because like, what would be so special about chainsaws? About the fear of chainsaws? About the chainsaw devil? I have no idea. I can't think of anything. You know? Hmm. Yeah, the devil there seemed to know him, and I've never seen anyone change like that. The most mysterious thing is that Makima was worried about him. He usually travels all over. Yeah, she's been staying in Tokyo. Perhaps because she knows his secret. I wonder. Like, because Makima is so invested in, like, manipulating Denji and keeping him around, right? It's almost like she wants to keep him mentally in the same place that he's at right now, right? Probably just because it's so easy to manipulate him, right? Like, she's kind of against him, like, developing as a person, just because then it would be harder to keep him stuck here, right? Um, because I guess it makes you wonder too, like perhaps the Chainsaw Devil is actually so powerful that he could easily, escape from this situation, kill everyone, And she doesn't want that, of course, right? Hmm. So we go drinking. God, Power is such a gremlin. Like, I love it's Fujimoto. Love that. Love that. God, is that Kobeni out there? Hmm. Kobeni is always so like nervous and scared. I'm glad that she manages to like relax a little bit throughout this engagement here. God, this guy brings up her spending all of her money on her family. You don't have to bring that up. Like, come on. I wonder if she's really gonna quit. Right? What's interesting, what I was thinking about, right, is like Kobeni already has a contract with a devil, right? What happens if you quit being a devil hunter? Do you keep that contract? Can the contracts be like broken? Because like what they said about contracts earlier, when like the Eternity Devil offered to make a contract to like kill Denji and he'll free them all, right? She was like, no, if it's a contract, it's like it's guaranteed, like for sure, right? It can't go back on its word or anything. So like for Kobeni, if she quit being a devil hunter, is she just allowed to keep this contract with whatever devil she has forever? Like that's weird, right? I don't know. I don't know. So this guy has a fiend too. I didn't really think about that, but of course that would be more than just power, right? How many fiends are there that the Devil Hunter Bureau is controlling? Apparently power is reasonable in comparison to other ones. Man, and Denji doesn't know how to read, of course. I'm too embarrassed to do it sober. Wait until I'm more drunk, which I think makes sense in a way, right? It's this she's afraid of like emotional connection with others in a way, right? So of course she wants to get so drunk before she like kisses someone, right? That makes sense. I think it's yeah, yeah. I think it's probably the same reason why Kishibe like was shown to be drinking so much, right? Like that's kind of like what people use alcohol to cope with, like in general, right? Like, hmm. Say your name, your age, and the devil you're contracted with. Well, Denji isn't really contracted in a way, right? So Denji says he's 16, he thinks, which I guess he doesn't even know. Himino, again, it's very interesting because she learns that he's 16 here, and she certainly has a reaction to him being 16, right? Um, I just wonder, I don't know, I just don't know where we're going with that, right? I don't know. It's very interesting. Obviously it is very interesting that he's 16 and he's a devil hunter, right? He's never gone to school or done anything, right? Like it's a sad situation, right? Hmm. Like she's so worried about him not having drank any booze, and then she's having sex with him at the end of the episode, right? God, he is so nervous too. Jesus. My contracted devil is the fox. So a bunch of people have a contract, yeah, with the fox devil, which is interesting. It's friendly towards humans, which maybe that makes sense. I don't know. I wouldn't think of a fox for that. It certainly looked pretty intimidating when we saw Hayakawa use it, when we saw Aki use it. Kobani, she's 20. Her devil is a secret, which is interesting. I assume whatever devil she's contracted with, I assume it's like has something to do with, or is in some way related to her having this constant fear at all times, right? If not like literally in universe, just like in some way, like for her as a character, it like makes sense, right? But I don't know. It's there could be devils for anything, so who knows, right? She has the devil because she's terrified of devils. Company has 8 siblings. That is indeed insane. And we learned that Fushi's newbie died yesterday. She has quite the reaction to it, huh? Because of course it's like it shows, right? She's drunk right now, so she has this crazy reaction to it. It almost shows like that's why she's drinking, right? Because she doesn't want to think about like loss like that, you know? Hmm. They die quite a lot, yeah. But Dingy won't die because he wants to kiss me. I suppose. But that's actually like an important thing for her, right? I actually think it is, you know? Yeah, yeah. Especially, like, again, it's like, if we are going further down, like, the potentially negative angle for this, where she just wants to become super reliant on Dingy and Dingy alone, it's like, Dingy being so infatuated by her in a way, and being so, like, his goal just being, like, kissing her, and, like, stuff like that, right? Of course that would be something that would be attractive for her, with, like, her whole thing, you know? Because then it's, you know, all he cares about is her, right? Instead of wanting to go run off and die to the gun devil, you know? That's much better, right? She wants someone, it's like she wants someone reliant on her, just like she wants to rely on another person, you know? Getting my first kiss today. And here's Makima. Jesus, God, her eyes are so fucking terrifying. Man. And Makima, I guess as expected, is completely unfazed by alcohol. Denji, are you going to kiss someone? Hell no. Denji, don't you want to kiss me? Hell yeah. Of course, Makima doesn't care who Denji's kissing. I think she's happy that he's kissing someone, right? That's down the same line that she's been like leading him through, you know, keeping him locked in on that, right? Such an easy path to manipulate him with, right? I need to change the topic, and he brings up the gun devil, of course. We didn't used to find devils with flesh pieces this often. I wonder if it has something to do with Dingy, right? Because that one was targeting Dingy, right? And she doesn't answer, because no one can outdrink her, of course. But, I mean, it's kind of a confirmation, of course. She does know something about Denji, right? Hmm. So we all drink a whole bunch. And can I skip the can I skip the kiss? Is that okay with everyone? I assume that's fine with everyone. No one else wants to watch that again. I assume. Power has an IQ of 1,000, obviously, of course. we are skipping this little kiss scene real quick. But what Denji does think back to, which is interesting, is this whole thing with Pochita when he was they're eaten out of a dumpster, and he looks at these rats that are eating some puke on the ground, which is interesting because it's like he himself isn't far off from that, right? How in this moment, right, like back here when he was had to dig through a dumpster for trash, it's like he wasn't far away from those rats, you know. Hmm. So Denji is certainly not very happy about his first kiss, tasting of puke. Can't really blame him. Um, I don't know. It's interesting. It doesn't really, I don't think it's really turning him off on Himeno though. That's for sure, right? Unless I don't know. I do wonder. I wonder. I wonder. We'll see. We'll see. Hmm. So Himeno drags him off, and yeah, I the puke woman puke kissed me. That's really That's really great. That's really great. I guess it's interesting because he thinks of her as the puke woman here. So it makes you think maybe it did kind of, change his attitude about her. But obviously, just like anything else, he's gonna melt and cave instantly when this happens, right? Like, come on. Hmm. And she is wasted, man. So I don't know. I mean, we talked about the scene, right? We talked about the scene. I wonder where this is going and how this is gonna go for Denji. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I'm curious if they're actually gonna do it or not, right? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Either way, it will be interesting, I think. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. This was maybe my favorite episode, honestly. I don't know. Every episode has been so good. It's hard for me to say. I just find Himino so good as a character. I'm very intrigued by her. I'm very curious where she's going, right? And I'm curious like what because like what let's say she forms this reliance on Denji and that's where it's going, right? She forms this Denji's the new thing for her to depend on. How is that? Obviously that's not going to be a permanent thing, right? So how would that break one day? What would happen to like ruin that for her, right? Um I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see what's going, right? So, yeah, I guess that's it. So please subscribe if you enjoy my videos. Leave a comment, tell me what you think, and I will see you in the next one.